Hey everybody, welcome to Take the Black Live, the show where myself, Dan Selcke of WintersComing.net, and Cheryl Wassenaar of Culturist.com talk all things Game of Thrones, Song of Ice and Fire, genre fiction, but this week it's all Game of Thrones because, oh my god, Cheryl, lots happening.
Yeah, I hope you guys can't see how tired we are, because because we're running on adrenaline and it's great. So many things.
It's a ton.
So many things.
And everybody who's watching, hey Julie, Sue, Tommy, Rebecca, good to see you all, Jacqueline. Okay, so if you've mentioned the Game of Thrones sphere recently, you know we're 2 weeks out from the premiere of the final season ever, and HBO's been releasing teasers, promos, new footage that they just made for the hell of it. It's not going to be in the actual show. A new poster. We're going to watch it all, we're going to look at it all, and we're going to talk about it all. I want to hear your opinions, I want to hear your takes, and we're going to talk about it and find out how we feel about this. Okay, first things first. Let's roll the Aftermath teaser that HBO dropped, I think just yesterday. It's been a whirlwind.
I need the whole bottle of this. Like, Game of Thrones is attempting to snatch our wig. Speaking of what this bottle is, it is Brewery Amagong's new For the Throne. It's a Belgian ale co-fermented with Pinot Grigio and grape juice. And it's pretty funky. I'm into it.
It's pretty good. I like it. Julie says this is so chilling, and Colette says, what's up with the feather? We're going to talk about it. Okay.
Symbolism.
Let's discuss this a bit.
Okay.
So, new teaser. The watchword is freaking dark, Cheryl. Oh my god.
Wig snatched.
I mean, wig snatched, and also
My hairline is done for.
Bowels vacated, because that was a... I mean, look, it's terrifying. That's Winterfell after a horrible battle, and, you know, all of these symbols of characters we know are on the ground, the implication being everyone's dead. Like, that's, you know, it's going dark, which it should.
Yes.
It's a scary, scary teaser. Colette, it's okay. Really quick, we got Longclaw. Jon Snow's dead. We got Jaime's golden hand. Jaime's dead. We got Needle. Arya's dead.
Daenerys' chain.
Daenerys' chain, which is on, we just noticed, Daenerys' chain on that teaser is on a broken wheel. Get it? Break the wheel. Hilarious. There's time for a visual pun in this...
in the midst of trying to kill us all.
Incredibly dark teaser. And,
snatched.
okay. Oh, Tyrion's Hand of the Queen pin is in there. Saw that.
Yes.
Nothing from Cersei or the Greyjoys. What if there's like a wine glass just like in the snow somewhere?
I mean, yeah, that would be hilarious. Like the wine is like spilled out onto the snow.
Yeah, it looks like blood.
Yeah!
It'd be cool.
So for the person who's asking what is the point of the feather is,
Okay.
we have talked about this before.
We have.
This
Colette.
is also, hi Colette.
It's for you, Colette.
We have talked about this before. The feather actually shows up on Sansa's costume. So the going theory is that it is meant to represent Sansa.
Yeah, the way everybody else has a thing that represents them, like Bran, his wheelchair is broken.
Right, and the fact that it's Sansa's feather falling onto Bran's wheelchair.
Oh, I didn't notice that. That's a good point.
Yeah.
So yeah, Robert Baratheon put that feather in Lyanna Stark's statue way back in the first episode. Mm-hmm. Sansa found it in the 5th season, and then she does wear it on her wrist. It's not. I'll say this: it is like the Vegas symbol because it's not really associated with Sansa in the way like Needle is with Arya or whatever.
Right.
But you got to have something.
Exactly.
I don't know, a strand of red hair.
Yeah,
it's not really gonna work.
Sansa doesn't have the kind of same iconic items aside from like the circle chain that she has now.
Even that doesn't really mean anything
but
for
it
her.
doesn't mean anything for her, whereas this is like a connection to her family.
Sure.
And it looks really nice when it kind of flutters to the ground right above Bran's broken
That
wheelchair.
feather has had like a career of its own these
Seriously,
past few
it needs its own
months.
credit.
It's the star of the first teaser, the Crypt of Winterfell thing, and now it's appearing here. It's an awesome feather.
Yeah.
Not since Forrest Gump has a feather pulled that much focus.
It's true.
Okay,
Doing work.
exactly. So anyway, the tone, incredibly dark, incredibly scary. Do you like it? Do you enjoy it? Do you enjoy what they're doing?
Man, like, it's a bold strategy to basically go, we're going to kill everyone you love.
Oh, it's good. I do like that they're going there.
They're playing coy because this is the teaser that was shot exclusively just to be a teaser for the hell of it, as far as we know. It's basically playing coy as much as you can play coy with the idea that we're going to kill everyone.
Which, I mean, they're not. I don't think they are, but
Yeah.
it's fun that they're going to go there for the teaser.
Yeah.
Christian, by the way, says, I'm glad you're feeling better.
Thanks.
Yeah, you were under the weather last week, but you're back.
Yeah,
You're
con
back.
crud. But I'm
And
back.
Ismail says, I can't believe 11 days until the wait is over. I know, Ismail. It's nuts.
Right.
By the way, this knife, if you're wondering, is a dragonglass dagger that's made of plastic that was given to me by AT&T and HBO as an invitation to an event they're having tonight in Chicago. Looking forward to that. And if I see any whites or white walkers along the way on the subway, I can stab them.
You're prepared.
Exactly.
The red line does get a little weird, so you're good.
It does. If I come back at like 10 o'clock at night, it might go a little longer. We'll see. Okay. Let's see if anybody else has any thoughts on that scene. Donna says, this scene's at Winterfell, so no wine glass, which makes sense, so
Yeah.
it's not going to be at Winterfell. And I mean, like, you could go crazy with that, right? You could say, why wasn't Davos' bag of finger bones in the snow? And say, like, maybe he's not there. But I mean, you have to cut it off somewhere.
Yeah.
Just be like, it's just a teaser. It's fine. And Julie says, it scares me. Where are our heroes? I know, it scares me too. But I do enjoy the cojones of
Yes.
kind of teasing that the characters we've invested so much in over these past 3 years are going to die brutally. There were some less horrible teases they gave us. They released 2 promos with actual footage from the show. If you're wondering, I mean, I don't think anybody thinks this, but the teaser footage isn't footage from the show. It's
Right.
just something they filmed for, the purpose of advertising us, which I actually like a lot. I kind of wish they would only do that and not release any footage from the advanced season. I think it's more fun that way. Because, why not go in unspoiled? Okay, so let's watch the promos. And Nicola mentions that Maisie Williams, her April Fool's was fantastic. Did you happen to see that, by the way?
I did.
That was good,
It was
right?
great.
She goes on Jimmy Kimmel and does a really convincing job of acting like she let a spoiler about Arya's death slip, and then it's April Fool's. That was very funny.
Just kidding. All right.
That kid's going places.
She is.
Okay,
Let
let's
us.
roll the other 2 promos that actually have footage from the
Yes.
show itself. Roll on.
We must fight together now, or die. Our enemy doesn't tire, doesn't stop. They're coming.
And we're back. That's promo number 1. Do you have number 2, Richard, by the way? I do. Great, okay. Reactions to that?
Okay. One big thing that kind of sticks out to me is this is the one where Tyrion gets to talk.
Yes.
He has not talked as far as I can remember.
He has
like
not.
he's maybe once or twice. Like the fact that he's the one that speaks first is important, I think. It's always important to note who talks.
Okay.
And there's new footage. There's a lot going on. Like it's cool to also notice like they're reusing some shots, but they're also just sprinkling in some new ones here and there. to
Yeah, there
whet
were
our
some older ones,
appetites.
but there were enough new ones to get us interested.
Yes.
The one that stood out to me, the one I think we have to talk about gently, or at least briefly, is this good Belgian stout ale. Is Daenerys wearing a pretty sick straight braid down the back of her head in front of a fireplace. It looks a lot like it's on Dragonstone.
Yeah, the fans at Our Free Folk, the subreddit,
God bless 'em.
have done the research. They have like there's this like specific part that like curves in the shot, and they've like matched it to a shot of her on Dragonstone.
I love them.
So yeah, it's believed that that is her on Dragonstone, which makes sense.
It totally does.
It's a good retreat.
Oh yeah, like if this is not a spoiler, this is just speculation. I am betting, because we know the Battle of Winterfell is episode 3. We know White Walkers versus the Living, episode 3. There's 3 episodes left. There's no way our heroes win that. It's going to be a defeat. And it's going to be death-filled and dramatic, and it's going to be just wrenching to watch, and I'm going to love it. But it makes sense to me that they would retreat south after that. And, we know the White Walkers can't swim. Where better to hide than on an island?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, it makes sense to go there for a lot of reasons. It's a stronghold in its own right for any other attempted assaults, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
The whole island thing really gives it some help there. But yeah, that's basically the thought that, and the hairstyle is dope, by the way.
It really is.
It's big and kind of clunky, but it's also very drawn back and serious. And like, Daenerys wears her hair long and loose frequently. So for her to go full drawn back, that's Daenerys in business mode.
At Con of Thrones this year, I'm looking forward to cosplayers out there. 2019 Con of Thrones National. I want to see that hairstyle.
Oh yeah. Good
Like
luck
an
to you.
example of it. The other shot I want to talk about is Nicholas says Jon is most definitely walking toward that dragon to ride it. Woohoo! And I agree. There's a shot of like Varys and Tyrion and Davos looking up with kind of their mouths catching flies mode, going like in its daytime. That can't be just a normal dragon because they've seen that. It can't be the Night King because they don't look nearly terrified enough. My bet is that's Jon on a dragon. They're going like, what the hell?
Wait a second, he's just supposed to be some bastard. Surprise.
Is my bet. Again,
Yeah.
This is not for certainty, but that is my good bet. Nicola, I agree with you. All into that. Okay, any other thoughts from that teaser? Because we got another one to do.
Yeah, there's more. Oh my god, there's
The
more.
watchword is more today.
Yeah.
Okay, roll the next promo.
Think back to where we started.
No, it's just us. We need to end this war. This goes beyond loyalty. This is about survival.
God, it's good. God, it's good stuff.
I don't have more hair. I don't know what I'm going to do. Okay, let us attempt to focus on some key shots there.
Because really, there are only like 3 new shots in that thing.
I know, and we're still shaking.
It's more than enough.
And we're still shook. We're easy to please. So I think my favorite of the new shots is Jon blowing the candle out.
Really? Go ahead. Tell me why.
Once again, the people that are free folk have noticed that the thing behind him is Ned Stark's statue. He is
always.
in the crypts.
Sean Bean, you should get like a credit for these seasons.
know!
I feel like you're still here.
Get some royalties, man. But I like it for a couple reasons, mostly symbolic. But also, like, the fact that, again, it's kind of this question of heritage, of tying back.
Right.
We were kind of talking about this on our episode of Wick Club this week. And the whole idea that, the light, aka humanity, might very well be snuffed out.
Oh, I love it.
I know, right? It's great. And it's Jon Snow doing the snuffing. And, he's with fire for once, but still in this very ice type areas. Fire and ice, because he's a secret Targaryen.
Sure. Got it.
Yeah! So that's probably my favorite.
It's a very nice shot. I'm looking forward to that. I mean, Ned Stark, there seems to be like a cottage industry of scenes where Starks go to the crypts and they talk in front of the statue of Ned Stark. And it's like he never left. because he's still influencing everybody, and I love that.
Yeah.
Julie says she loves it all, of course. Tony says hi from Buffalo, hi from Chicago. Sue Brooks says goosebumps. Amy Dodd says hello, hello. Okay, Nicola, here's a question for us. Is the shadow on Arya's face as she's running, is it a shadow on Arya's face as she's running, or does it look like her face turns into a White Walker? I don't think it does. I think she's just terrified. I'm looking forward to seeing that scene a lot, because we talked about this before.
Yeah.
Like Arya stark raving terrified, that's a new one on
Stark
me.
raving terrified.
Right? It's very funny. I'm hilarious. Can you confirm, asked Chandra, because I'm a strong believer in this, that the feather connects both Lyanna and Sansa? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think the feather connects Lyanna Stark. I think it connects to Robert Baratheon, to Arya Stark, to Sansa Stark, kind of pretty much all the Starks, to Jon Snow, too.
Definitely Jon.
Anybody in the Stark lineage, it has a connection to.
Yeah.
It's literally on Sansa's person.
Yeah, that's
But,
why. That's why we say it's Sansa's feather.
Yeah.
Sansa's feather. Because she wears it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all over the. Thank you.
Sorry, it went into frame.
Yeah. That's why we say Sansa's feather, not just because she wears a feather. It's that feather specifically.
Okay, that's weird. All right, we also have to talk about that shot of Jon and Arya in the Godswood.
Oh yeah.
Back together again. Come on.
Yeah.
They last saw each other in episode 2 when Maisie Williams was like 12 or something.
Yeah, like it, and I love that she is standing so starkly.
Stark still.
Yeah, she's still a spook. It's awesome.
It kind of is. Like let's not forget, Arya Stark is, in some ways, and I mean this like more literally than metaphorically, kind of like a monster. Like she can literally skin a person's face off, wear it, turn into that person. She has killed, I think, more than anybody else in the show. And that's saying a lot, frankly, because a lot of people murder a lot of people in the show. She's sort of a scary figure.
Yeah.
If you just like think about it, if you step back for a second. So I like when you said that she was kind of a spook. Like she kind of looks. I think in that scene they'll be talking.
Oh yeah.
What I like about it is that it looks like Jon's troubled. Like I'm not sure what they're talking about. It's not like a happy reunion, and they've consistently done that. Like they've wanted, like the fanish instinct is to want a happy reunion between these characters who haven't seen each other for a long time, and who we want them to hug and cry and talk it out, and they do that sometimes. But more often, we've had these complex things, like Jon and Sansa hugged it out at first, and then it quickly became this kind of complicated relationship where, yes, they're siblings, but they're also kind of business partners, and there's somewhat rivalry in there, too, for the throne. Arya and Sansa, I don't love the way they did it entirely, but I do like that it wasn't just a love fest when they got back together. They do have issues they had to work out. I know we're all looking forward to Jon and Arya reuniting and just having it be beautiful, but these people have gone through a ton. Like, I don't think it would... I don't expect and I don't want it to just be tears all the time coming out. I mean, she's killed, like, upwards of 100 people. I'm looking forward to the form their relationship takes.
Yeah, and I think it might, in some ways be very similar to how we saw Sansa and Arya kind of reuniting in season 7, in that Jon's gonna have some adjustments to do because Arya Stark's a spook. Like, she's creepy. It's not just what she's capable of doing, it's the way she acts and behaves. And I know Maisie Williams has kind of talked about Arya finally gets to feel things again in season 8.
It's gonna be nice.
But there's gonna be some conflict there. Like, the spook's still gonna come out.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
I mean, she still has a list of people she wants to kill.
Not just she wants them dead, she wants to kill them specifically herself.
I love that. I love that idea for a storyline, by the way. The idea that she's been kind of deadened these years into like a murder machine, and it's got to be like when your hand's been asleep and then it kind of de-thaws and it hurts all of a sudden because the blood's running back through it. That's going to be Arya with her feelings coming back after all these years, pushing them down.
That's beautiful.
And being a merciless killer.
It's beautiful, Dan.
It's going to hurt.
Yeah.
It's going to be great. And Maisie Williams, as we see, can act like a Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah, she'll nail it. She'll be fine. I'm excited about this.
No. This might be Arya's season.
Haven't
Might
they all
be.
been Arya's season in some way, shape, or form?
I mean, she's always had. I don't know. I'm doing a slider now on Wick about like rating the seasons and choosing an MVP for each one. And I don't think so. Not yet. I don't think she's like been. Oh yeah, she was the breakout one from this year. I think Jamie was season 3 with his getting hand chopped off and the bathtub conversation, all that stuff.
Oh, the bathtub conversation.
Oh, it's so good. Ned
Favorite.
season 1, obviously, because like that's when he is. I think Oberyn stole season 4. Frankly, he just waltzed in here and just took it.
Yes.
I don't think Arya's ever quite taken it. Maybe it's this year.
Maybe it's this year. Yeah. There are so many things.
Okay. Any thoughts on that? Love to know it.
Yes. But wait, there's more.
Julie thinks John's going to be shocked by the change in Arya. I wonder, perhaps shocked.
Yeah.
Monster kills anyone. And Tommy says she's an assassin for good. Yes, that's true. I'm not saying Arya is an evil person. I'm just saying that you look at her from a certain kind of perspective, like that Sansa saw her in last season, where you just stumble upon a bag of human faces, you're gonna be freaked out.
That's a problem. That's what we call a
I
problem.
mean, at the least, it's a story.
It's and it's not the story you necessarily want to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. And I think in some ways they did a really good job of emphasizing how
In some ways, they did.
freaking creepy. Like Maisie Williams did an excellent
She really
job in
did.
season 7, in particular. Like her facial expressions were all very unsettling in a lot of ways, and I think she did a really good job of stillness in there.
I think
Okay,
so.
you said ooh because you were looking at the screen. What?
Apparently, the red carpet was kicked off in NYC for the premiere. A lot's happening, you guys. Okay.
It's happening.
But okay, last thing we're going to talk about before we go to Song Dan and Josh is the new poster they've released, which is also gleefully brutal.
Macabre.
Okay, let's look at the new poster for Game of Thrones Season 8. Oh my god. Okay, it is the corpses of our beloved characters arranged in the snow in the shape of the Iron Throne. I love it. I love it so much.
Once again, they went there. They went there.
It's horrifying.
I know.
You're just gonna, you know what it is? Remember that poster in season 6 when they had like the characters on the wall of faces and they're all dead?
Yeah, this is
like
worse.
the good version of that.
Yeah, the wall of
Like
faces was kind of
the entertaining
not great.
version. It was kind of lame. Like it's not really a big part of it, but this is so it's referencing the way the White Walkers kind of arrange corpses and bodies in the snow.
Correct.
The Iron Throne referencing obviously because we're all fighting for it, and it's a lot of corpses and people we know, and just the faces of Arya and Jon and Sansa and Cersei and Jaime, everybody in there, and they're all dead. And I love that they're going this dark for a show this popular. I think it's daring. I think it is just compelling. I think it just it gets a reaction from me, like a visceral.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm terrified reaction. I love it. I love that they're going there.
My favorite, I don't know if this is actually my favorite thing, but one of the favorite things that they did with the promotion of this poster, they tweeted it out and they said the Great War was here as the caption
Oh, I didn't even see that.
on Twitter. And it was like, snatched yet again.
We got
Like
her.
I am losing follicles as we speak. It just, woof. A couple things. A couple things. Melisandre's in that. She
Yes.
is to the left, about at the level of Game of Thrones, the GOT logo,
And she hasn't seen anything so far.
and she hasn't been seen in anything so far. The Night King is dead.
Oh, even the Night King's gone. You're right.
Even
he
the
is.
Night King is dead.
That's how dead they all are.
That's how dead they all are. Which is funny because you would think they would spare him,
Right.
but nope, he's dead too, guys. Yeah, no, it's just.
It's great.
What did you notice in this poster, Dad?
Nothing. I think a close look at it. I love it. I think it works best as an abstraction, as a kind of a magic eye thing. You stand back and appreciate the fullness of it. That's my opinion. Getting into it, I'm sure they're all there. I didn't even notice the Night King. I also love it because, frankly, and I can say this now, I thought the first poster they released was kind of crap.
Yeah, it was not my favorite.
Not crap, but just I thought it was a little dorky. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like a Drogon hand puppet, where it's like it's an Iron Throne, but there's some eyes on the bottom. It's like a trick. I don't like a gimmick in the poster. I just wanted to like say something up front. This
mean,
new one does. I think this one's kind of doofy.
one's literally an Iron Throne made of corpses, Dan.
Yeah, but it's clear. It's not like you have to look at this one and then you're like, ooh, I found Waldo. The eyes are at the bottom. I like the other one a lot better.
I mean, yes, I will agree with you there, but like, they're both gimmicky. One was just better executed than the other.
Fair enough.
So, yeah. Oh, guys.
Amy Dodd loves the new poster. Had fun trying to work out where they all are. Some aren't easy to work out, as we just saw.
It's true. I remember in the chat someone had triple spotting where Bran is. He's under John.
I can see him.
Yeah.
It's like Minnie the Daenerys. Okay. Yeah, great poster, great teaser, great promos. We're almost there, Cheryl. 11 days and we'll be there.
We're not ready. Well, I'm ready, but we're not ready.
Oh, before we go to Song and Josh, really quick. This is for you, Julie Davies. I have a steamer I'm going to use to steam out the flags, the wrinkly flags, so they're ready for the season.
We're so proud of him.
We're all about props today. We got knives, we got beer, we got steamers. And
We have
pretty
everything.
quick, unless we have something else to say, we'll have Josh Hill.
Josh is just a prop too. He's a puppet controlled by me. That's the conspiracy. You heard it here first. That's not actually true. No, I will see you all next week. Hopefully we'll have more exciting things to talk about. I'm sure we will. And have a great week, everyone.
We're back in just a minute with A Song of Dan and Josh, our walk through A Song of Ice and Fire. Stick around.
Oh, Ned Stark, will you ever learn? Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there. I'm Dan Selcke, the editor at winteriscoming.net, your one-stop shop for all things Game of Thrones, A Song of Ice and Fire, and genre fiction in general. We here at Wick love bringing you news, reviews, and editorial content, and we're going to keep doing all that stuff. However, for the especially hardcore among you, we're going to start offering even more. Welcome to the Wick Club. The Wick Club is a Patreon-funded effort to provide fantasy and sci-fi fans with even more Wick content. You can join at several levels. For $1 a month, you can enter into monthly swag giveaways and get to read extra columns. At $4, you'll get to watch extra episodes of Take the Black Live, our weekly chat show, with topics chosen by you. Please be gentle. And at the Valyrian Steel level, that's $10 a month, you get Wick Club t-shirts and access to a new segment we're calling Drinking and Knowing Things, a monthly live stream where I drink wine and talk with all of you in a free-flowing conversation about Game of Thrones, fantasy, sci-fi, and whatever else comes up after I've had a few. Just to be clear, we're not going to stop doing anything on Wick we already do, and we're hoping to add more stuff anyway. The Wick Club is a way to produce even more content, and hopefully to get to know some of you better. You can find links to more information below. We hope to see you in the Wick Clubhouse. Valor Morgulis, bottoms up, and thanks for watching.
Welcome back. I'm here with fansided.com's own Josh Hill.
Hello, everybody.
He says hello.
I do.
Be polite. Here to talk about A Song of Ice and Fire. We walk through every single chapter of George R. R. Martin's as yet unfinished magnum opus. We are currently on A Clash of Kings, the very first ever Theon Greyjoy chapter.
Yeah.
Joshua. Is that your full name?
It is.
Joshua, what did you think of this chapter? It was a long one.
It was a long one, and I think the moral of the story was it kind of sucks to be Theon. Like,
Okay.
he is a man who thinks he has everything, and as it turns out, has basically nothing. He's
Here's my thing
a trumped
with
up
that.
character.
How do you mean, trumped up?
Trump in that both in the literal and the figurative sense that he's this character who thinks he's far more important than he actually is,
Yeah.
and he thinks he's got a lot more coming to him than he actually does. Like
Absolutely.
He's an important character, but he's not as important as he thinks he is.
Totally. Here's my thing about that. It sucks to be Theon. It also sucks to be around Theon.
That too.
Honest to God, like
Yeah.
reading this chapter, he's interesting. I love Theon as a character. Theon, the person, kind of sucks.
Oh, not kind of, absolutely.
Like really,
sucks.
like yeah, quite badly. Okay, so this chapter is the first Theon chapter. It's him. Diane asked, "We know if there will live stream the premiere tonight." I don't actually know, Diane. Sorry, we'll be on it after I'm done with this. Quick,
We're
quick,
live
quick.
streaming it on Twitter, so
Oh, there you go. On Twitter, Diane. Go to Twitter to see the Game of Thrones live stream premiere red carpet. Okay, so this chapter is Theon's returning to the Iron Islands to try to convince his dad, Balon Greyjoy, to help with Robb's war effort.
Yep.
Robb's message is, give this to your dad. I want him to harass the Lannisters while I fight them on this front. He'll fight them on that front. And in return, I'll make your dad a king again. Because we get this whole kind of backstory on the Iron Islands. They once were conquerors. They once were
There you go.
raiders. They
There you
once
go.
were.
Let it all out.
It's good stuff. For the Throne, Iron Throne beer from Brewery Amgang. They once were this powerful force, and then basically the Targaryens come along, they smack them down.
Yep.
They send them back to the Iron Islands. They say, you're not a king anymore. We're the king. You're going to obey us, and if you don't, we're going to burn the hell out of you. They do it, and it seems like there's this culture on the Iron Islands of hurt about that. It's kind of like the American South a little bit.
A little bit.
Where it's like there's still like some residual bitterness about the Civil War ending. You know what I'm talking
They're
about?
a little raw still.
I mean, it's been a long time, but yeah.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute.
They hold grudges
I mean,
down there.
it's been a minute since the Iron Islanders were
Yeah.
smacked down too. But I find it really interesting that when Theon goes to meet his dad is like belittling him because he thinks he's been turned. He's like, you're not Ironborn anymore. You're Ned Stark's daughter.
Yeah.
Like, you're dressed up like a whore. He uses like really gendered language, like belittle him. It's a machismo culture.
Oh, yeah.
It's where we feel inferior because we were smacked down by the Targaryens, so now we're gonna like strut around and preen because we need to feel tough because we're, we feel insecure about losing everything back then.
It's like Germany in the 1930s.
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
After World War I.
I should have gone with that metaphor. That's a lot safer.
Well, I liked your metaphor too. It was good. I mean, they're both pretty identical. There's a rise
Like
of
cultural embarrassment.
Yeah, and there's a rise of nastiness that comes out of that because it's hollowed out machismo. We need to become tougher or seem tougher than we are because we're making up for the fact that we were just embarrassed in the Civil War, in World War I, for whatever probably proper reasons in World War I and World War II.
Probably proper.
Or
Probably.
in the Civil War, which, again, George R. R. Martin drawing from history.
Totally.
Which is something
George Martin
that we've
is
talked
the person
about
who knows
before.
about this stuff.
Yeah, but no, I totally agree. This is absolutely it's posturing, and that's Theon. I don't know if he necessarily wants to come back to that. Like he's a crappy person, but I think deep down he doesn't want to engage in this basically toxic masculinity of the Ironborn. It's
Yeah, I think you're right. Like, well, we get kind of. I think he's mostly toxic himself for most of the chapter. We get like hints of something else. Like, okay, so let's go through his hit parade.
Let's go down the
So the
checklist.
chapter, the first part of it is he's on a boat going to the Iron Islands. He's going to talk to his dad and try to get him to join Rob's war effort. He's sleeping with the captain's daughter, and he's the worst to her.
He's rubbing it in his face too.
He's awful. Yeah. So the captain's uncomfortable with it.
Yeah.
And Theon delights in it. He likes it when he's called Lord.
because he can get away with it.
Yeah. And it's like if he can do it, he'll do it. And he treats this girl like crap. Like, she's clearly into him, the captain's daughter. And he's saying things like, you'd be lucky to bear my bastard, is basically what he comes to at the end of it. He may get her pregnant. He doesn't really care. He's going to leave. He doesn't mind that at all. She wants to go with him, and he's like, ugh, go back to the boat. He says, like, horrible things, like, she's a little more plump than I usually like, but whatever. A shade plump for his taste. I wrote it down. He thinks she's stupid, but there's a line that's like, oh, I don't need intellect in my girls. He's awful. This is terrible stuff.
Yeah.
He gives this one speech about how back in the old days, the Ironborn either taken you for a salt wife, which is basically a slave. Like they captured women from other areas and just took them back and like harem. And like that's the good old days to him. Like, which again is completely machismo culture, completely cultural embarrassment.
Absolutely, yeah.
He's an aspect of this. So he's awful in a lot of ways. He's awful. But there are these hints. You're right that it's all for show, or a lot of it's for show.
Yeah, it's learned behavior, like the hand that rocks the cradle. Like he's become this because we are seeing absolutely where he comes from.
I mean, his
When
dad.
he gets back and he's talking to Balon, and he's basically this sexist pig guy who is
Right.
just the most vile, disgusting character you could possibly dream up. And Theon is from that. Like, that is Theon's lineage. Like, that is what he learned. That is how he learned and what he thinks is right and how he should act. So, I don't know.
I mean, he hasn't seen his dad for a long time. So Theon's story is pretty interesting. He's on the Iron Islands until he was like 10, And then Robert, his father, rebels against the throne, trying to take back the glory days, being a king in the Iron Islands again. You know, the dragons are gone, might as well try. King Robert and Ned Stark smack him down, not with dragons this time, just with good old-fashioned swords in the face. And he's been stewing ever since. And Theon is taken to Winterfell to be raised as a hostage, which is a thing that happened in the medieval age. It's such a weird thing to think. It's like if
Very weird thing to think.
if like the Obamas just like took in Putin's child and just like raised him as like insurance against a war. That's like the basic thing. It's incredibly bizarre.
Very bizarre.
But it 100% happened. And so he's raised half his life with Ned Stark as kind of a fatherish figure. And Theon talks about like he never felt like he was part of the Starks. Like he gets along with Robb. He and Robb are buddies. And there's a line that like Ned Stark tried to play the parent once in a while, but at the end of the day, he always knew.
Yeah.
Like I don't really belong here.
Yeah.
Like a ward in name, a hostage in truth, but no longer. His life is his own again, and nowhere is Stark to be seen. And now he's going back to his original home, but he doesn't really fit in here anymore either.
No.
Like
He's a man without a home.
a man without a country,
There you go.
or a kingdom, a seven kingdom.
Seven kingdoms.
There's this bit where he sees this bridge he used to run across as a kid, like one of those rickety rope bridges connecting Pike,
Yeah.
which is we saw on the show when
Yep.
his Balon dies, a soft one. And he was a kid who used to run across it. Now he's terrified of it. It's like it's terrifying. It's like up 1,000 feet. It's rickety. It's over an ocean. It's like I want to. He like has to crawl across it. He doesn't quite fit in here either.
No.
He wears the wrong clothes to meet his father. Like they have this whole thing that if you don't steal the jewels you're wearing off the corpse of a guy you killed, you shouldn't be wearing them, which is barbaric.
Extremely.
And he's just wearing things he just bought with money, and that's
The proper way.
yes. And he's shamed for that.
Capitalism.
Exactly. Hey, capital. I would take capitalism. I mean, any day of the
Yeah.
week, really, but I'll take it over this Iron Islands method.
I would take a
of
lot over this.
You got to kill the guy to get that little flannel shirt you're wearing.
Yeah, give me communism over this.
Give me anarchy.
There's
Whatever,
a lot of
anything's
things.
better
Well,
than that.
that's essentially anarchy. So
The Iron suck. Yes, the iron price, as Nicole points out. It's paying the iron price.
the iron price.
And there's also this bit about how he makes a friend in the Riverlands. I forget what his name is. Some like son of a lord who's like a Westerosi guy. But the Westerosi guy's father is like, don't talk to him. He's an Iron Islander. So he is a complete jagwagon, but he does have this very hard road to hoe, where he's not really a Stark, he's not really a Greyjoy. People on both sides of the thing distrust him. So he's like, I'm going to be a swaggering jackass, and I'll try that, see if that works for me. And as we know, it doesn't work in
Doesn't work
the
out so
worst
hot.
way possible.
Does not work out at all.
But here, so okay, well, that's my question for you. Did you have sympathy for Theon here?
Yes, and mostly. I mean, mostly no. I think I'm comparing him to what he is on the show, where he is.
Sure, like
he becomes
where
this
we know
kid-
he goes.
We know he has a soul at some
Yes.
point. Like he's not this monstrous character that he comes off as very much so here, where there's very few redeeming qualities
Right.
to Theon as he is in this chapter. So but I felt bad for him in that I see where he comes from. It's the hand that rocks the cradle thing. He's not. I don't think deep down he is as terrible as all of the other Ironborn. Maybe that's my own naivety, wanting him to break out and have this sort of character arc. And
Sure, I
again,
can see it.
and again, comparing it to the show, where it's like he actually does have that character
We
arc.
actually have some comments on here about ways. Julie says Theon is a little weasel, which I mean, again, it's good.
good.
Text supports it. It's fine.
It's good.
Jacqueline, Theon's dad Balon is a nasty person father. I felt sorry for Theon when he met his dad again.
Yeah.
Which again, like you can see different things here. Karen, books are amazing. It's true. Amy says Theon's a bit of an anti-hero. You root for him on some levels, but on others, he's awful.
Yeah, most levels. It is sympathetic. Going back to who said the comment about the dad?
That was Jacqueline.
Jacqueline. To Jacqueline's point, it is kind of like I feel the sympathy comes from he's kind of doing all of this, both because it's learned behavior, and I
Right.
feel like also he's like, I want Daddy to approve.
Yeah,
Like,
and he
and he doesn't get his approval. He's doing all
No.
these absolutely garbage things, and he still
It's
doesn't
like
get
it's
his dad's
not
approval.
chauvinist enough.
Yeah,
for
and that's
Balon Greyjoy.
That's to the other comment about being an anti-hero. That's where the sympathy comes from. It's like, oh man, you're just a piece of trash, and like that's not even good enough. Like,
You gotta
damn,
get
I feel
trashier
bad
for
for
it.
you. Like you are just the lowest of the. You are going the lowest hanging fruit,
As you
and
possibly
just
can, and
Still
it's not
not
low
good
enough.
enough to impress your dad.
I mean, at some level, I don't think there's anything he could have done that would have pleased
Oh,
Balon.
no,
I
not
think
at
he
all.
was determined not to kind of hate him.
And that's the tragedy.
He found something.
That's the tragedy of Theon. Literally everything Theon does is not good
Yeah,
enough.
it
ever.
sucks. It sucks. Again, I got what I said the first. It sucks. It sucks being Theon, and it sucks being around Theon. It
Just a
he just
bubble of
sucks all over the
suck
place.
that is Theon.
The character, I think, is really good.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
But just the experience of Theon is just suckitude. And we'll see him try to negotiate this and fail throughout this book. It's going to be rough. Theon is a rough-ass journey, my God. Okay, I mentioned this at the start, but just some language stuff or just some description stuff. So I'm going to read Martin's description of the island of Pike, or the castle of Pike, the Iron Islands. The shore was all sharp rocks and glowering cliffs, and the castle seemed one with the rest, its towers and walls and bridges quarried from the same gray-black stone, wet by the same salt waves, festooned with the same spreading patches of dark green lichen, speckled by the droppings of the same sea birds.
Festooned.
I know, right? Good word.
word.
I think we have a image from the actual show. Let's compare that description to what it looks like. Effective?
Wow.
The
It's
Castle
exactly
of
like
Pike
they
in the
saw
Iron
it was in
Islands.
my mind.
Are you just saying that? Is that true?
Or maybe I saw it on the show and I was picturing it. So they did see exactly
Yeah,
what was
that's
in my
true.
mind.
They did a good job. It's a
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
harsh place, the Iron Islands, and Theon wishes he were a harsher man, but he's not deep inside. Karen says that he is a cocky wannabe badass, but he learns his lesson that he is a punk, which yes, he will. Okay, what an exhausting chapter. We also meet really quickly Aeron Greyjoy, his priest uncle, who will have a bigger part in the books than he is in the show. He's in the show like super duper, really freaking briefly, but I don't think he's even named. He mentions Euron Greyjoy, which is kind of impressed by. Like this is pretty early on.
Yeah.
Like he wouldn't show up for a couple other books and for like 4 more seasons. But Theon's thinking about, the fact that he wants to go and get his father's armies to work for Robb. And he basically thinks, Euron's not here. That's probably a good thing. he would disrupt stuff. He doesn't want anything to disrupt, I'm quoting here, his plan, his glory, and in time, his crown. Sure, Theon. He thinks the comet is his comet, because of course he does. He's a bit of a preening jackass.
Right.
I'm like, okay, Theon, whatever. And at the end of it, as you said, nothing goes according to plan. What I like about the chapter is that he's a preening jackass, but George R. R. Martin clearly doesn't see him that way.
No.
Like, just because he thinks he's, all that and a bag of, lays, doesn't mean that he's actually not. And the chapter makes it very clear he's not.
Yeah.
Like, he's disrespected at every single turn. His conception of himself is really at odds with how other people see him, which, again, is interesting writing. Because, there are characters in fiction who are just straight preening badasses.
Yeah.
And the world treats them like that, and they're never interesting. So, but I'm perfectly okay with a preening badass who thinks he's great, but is actually like a total punk.
Oh, yeah.
As somebody said. I forget. Everybody's talking here. Oh, Karen said. And finally, at the end of the chapter, talking to Lord Balon, he wants him to attack Casterly Rock or Lannisport. Lord Balon's like, nah, I'm not going to do that. Balon hungers for a different plum, not so juicy sweet to be sure, yet it hangs there ripe and undefended. What's Balon Greyjoy talking about? What does he want to do?
What does Balon Greyjoy want to do? You tell me.
Okay,
What is
I
your
will.
interpretation of this?
Well, I mean, I'm not interpreting it. We know
As
what
literal
happens.
as it is.
Balon, so Theon goes to get Balon to help Robb in his war against the Lannisters. Balon's like, wait, Robb Stark left the North? Let's attack the North! That's a great idea. So, again, we're going to see Theon be torn here.
Yep.
He likes Robb. I mean, he was raised by the Starks. Well, he was raised by both families, I guess. And now,
He also wanted to lead an army here. So, like,
Oh,
this is
totally.
he's getting poo-pooed again. Where it's like, this is my master plan. And it's like, actually,
Oh,
let's
yeah.
go take Winterfell. And he's
Let's
like,
take
ah,
Winterfell, dude."
dang it.
As we know, I'm not sure if you remember from the show, but yeah, I mean, Theon will go on to take Winterfell.
Yeah.
And then fail at it horribly.
Ooh, just in the worst possible way.
But he does. So that's balanced. So now Theon's going to be torn further.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's literally torn. Like, his adoptive brother doesn't want him to invade the North, and his actual father does. What will he do? Make the wrong choice. Obviously, we
It's
already know
Theon.
that.
Of course he makes the wrong
He
choice.
makes the wrong choice. Okay. Anything else you want? And Julie Davis says that Alfie Allen did a great job. He really did.
He did. He really
Alfie
did.
Allen is like the unsung
Oh, yeah.
hero of that show.
Yeah.
Like, he kills every scene he's in. He never quite broke out in the way that, like, Kit Harington or Emilia Clarke did, but he's
No.
really, really strong.
He was in Cody Banks too, though.
Great. He was also in John
That was
Wick.
before Game of Thrones, though. So that's his breakout. Emilia Clarke was in a Star Wars movie. Cody Banks goes to London.
He was in he was the villain in John Wick.
He was briefly.
Right?
He wasn't the main villain. He
I
gets
guess
killed
not.
very early on, doesn't he?
He was a punk.
Yeah.
He's a punk in John Wick. Yeah, he gets killed pretty quick.
Yeah. Well.
But he's in it. Good for you, Alfie Allen.
Yeah.
And any other thoughts on this, John?
No.
Josh?
I don't.
Great.
You call me John on like a very consistent basis too.
Do I really?
I mean, the segment's called "Song of Dan and Josh."
In my
we can
defense,
change it.
come on, this
I
bottle
can
is
go to the
empty.
courthouse and change it if it makes it easier.
It's not quite
There
empty.
you go.
Now it's empty. Oh my god. Oh my god.
That's a lot.
Okay, I can't drink all of that. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
All right.
Oh no.
Well, on that note,
Night, everybody.
Dan's got something to.
I thought there was less in there.
Oh, well, you guessed wrong.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll be back next week with more Song Ice and Fire discussion, more Game of Thrones news, more genre fiction elucidation, and before we know it, we'll be watching the final season of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Adios, everyone.